Good morning, this is your very own Chef of the Year, Chef Sumit Pant from Banasada Chandiwala Institute of Hotel Management. I'm happy to share with you all that we are ranked number 6 in India. Today I'm going to take you along with this journey of methods of cooking. Good morning, my name is Chef Sumit Pant and today I'm going to discuss and show you about the various methods of cooking. So this board, method of cooking is divided into two parts. One is the moist heat method and second is the dry heat method. When I say moist heat, it means water would be involved. When I say dry heat, it means maybe oil or maybe no oil would be involved. So let's quickly see first the moist method of cooking. Under moist comes blanching, poaching, steaming, boiling, braising and stewing. All the methods are different from each other. I'm going to show you a quick video of all the methods so you can understand. So let's see what blanching is. So first thing we're going to do is blanching. Now blanching is divided into two parts. One is a cold water blanching. Second is a hot water blanching. Now what is these two terms? Hot water blanching and cold water blanching. Cold water blanching is done when I take the vegetables, put them in a cold water and then I bring them to a boil. When I start when the water is cold. Hot water blanching is something when I already boil the water and then I put vegetables inside and I blanch them. Now how do I differentiate which is for the cold water blanching vegetables I should use and which vegetables should I use for the hot water? So cold water blanching is done for vegetables which grow under the soil. And hot water blanching is done for vegetables which grow above the soil. If I take an example of potatoes, if I want to blanch potatoes, I will blanch them through cold water blanching. I'll start it when the water is cold. Now if I have to blanch, say, broccoli, I'll start it in a hot water blanch. Now blanching is never complete without shocking. Now, what is shocking? Shocking is when I blanch the vegetables, I take them out from very high heat temperature and put them in a very cold temperature. Now what this does is this arrests the cooking. Now cooking stops immediately when I put them in a fresh cold water. Now shocking is not done for all the vegetables because we generally avoid putting potatoes for shocking because if I put potatoes into cold water, what they will do is they will absorb the water. So quickly I'm going to show you both the things together, the cold water blanching and the hot water blanching. Whenever we blanch something, we add a little bit of salt to it. So what salt does it helps us in reducing the color of the vegetables. So in one pan I'm going to put potatoes, that would be my cold water blanching. And the other pan I'll wait until the water has come to a boil. Now whenever we blanch, the temperature of the water should be just below the boiling point. The cold water blanching, I've put the potatoes, as soon as the water comes to a boil, I'll let it cook, I'll let the potatoes cook until I get the desired doneness of the potatoes. So as you can see, the water has come to a boil. I'll reduce the flame because I'm not boiling, I'm simmering it or I'm blanching it. So now I'll add carrots to it. And on the other hand, I have potatoes which have also come to a boil. I'll reduce the gas of the potatoes and I'll cook the potatoes till the desired doneness. So in this, I'm cooking the potatoes until they are 70% cooked. My carrots are now ready. So as I've told you that blanching is never completed without shocking. So I have to take my carrots out now and I'll put them into ice cold water, which will stop the cooking. This is blanching. Is poaching. Now, poaching is a very different method of cooking. It is a very healthy method of cooking also. There is no fat involved. What we do in poaching is we add some wine, maybe some herbs to the liquid so it gets some aroma. Today I'll be showing you how to poach an egg. Whenever you poach something, the temperature should be just below the boiling point. It should be between 70 degrees Celsius to 96 degrees Celsius or 95 maybe. Once we have poached a meat or an egg, the leftover liquid which is left can be used to make sauce because it has a lot of flavor from the eggs, a lot of flavor from the herbs, and of course there's wine also. let's see what is poaching. So poaching, poaching. Like I said, it is done just below the boiling point. You can see the water is simmering nicely. So what we can do is we can always add a little bit of citric agent to the water. So what it does is it helps the protein to coagulate. In this case, I'm adding a little bit of vinegar to the water. We are doing a poached eggs. So now I'll be adding egg. Whenever we are doing poaching, the food particles should be completely immersed inside the liquid. So now we have a poached egg. For steaming, we need to bring the water to a boiling point, and then we leave it to boiling so that steam is generated. In this method, the food particle is cooked only by steam. In water, we can also add some herbs to give some flavor to the steam, and then we leave it for steaming. We are steaming asparagus today. It does not take long to steam asparagus. Let's check them. So the difference between steaming and boiling would be, in steaming the food particle is getting cooked by the vapors. So next we're talking about boiling. Now, the basic principle about boiling is whatever you want to boil should be completely immersed inside the liquid. Now, when I say boiling, we always add salt to the item that we are boiling. Now, how much salt to add is a thing to decide. For example, if I am boiling asparagus will not take more than 3 to 4 minutes to boil. So in this case, I would be adding salt on a higher level, as compared to when I'm boiling potatoes. Potatoes take longer time to boil. So in this case, I'll be adding little salt on a lesser side. So if the item is delicate, so I would need more salt so that the salt can penetrate inside the vegetable or food item. And if the item is hard, like potato, which takes longer time to boil, so in that case I will add salt in a lower scale. Boiling. So I'm going to show you how to boil potatoes. We have to start when the water is cold. I put the potatoes inside. You can see the quantity of water I have used. Whatever thing I'm boiling should be completely immersed inside the cooking liquid. So in this case I'm boiling potatoes. It also depends how much salt I need to add. So now I'll be, because potatoes take longer time to cook, I'll add a little bit more salt, a little less salt in it, so that I have a lot of time so that the salt can penetrate inside the potatoes. If I'm boiling asparagus, which takes very less time to cook, so I'll be adding salt on a very high side. Now it also depends how much do I want the potatoes to cook. What should the doneness of the potatoes? I'm cooking it for next something like if I'm making French fries, so I'm first boiling it and then I'm frying it. So it depends how much doneness of the potatoes I want. Now I'll wait until the water comes to a boil. So I'm boiling these potatoes today to make French fries. So I think my potatoes are ready now. I'll take them out. So this was boiling. Let's talk about braising and stewing now. Well, these two are very closely related to each other. They're very similar. The basic difference are when I'm braising something, whenever I'm braising, the cuts of meats are larger. Stewing, the cuts of meats are not very large, they're smaller. Braising, the liquid would not be completely, the food particle would not be completely immersed inside the liquid. Stewing, the food particle would be completely immersed inside the liquid. Both of these methods are done for the cheaper cuts of meat, as these are very slow, long, moist method of cooking. Now when I do braising, the basic difference is I always finish my braised products in the oven. In stewing, it is not necessary that I put it in the oven. I can finish it over the stove also. But when I'm braising something, this has to go inside the oven. So now we'll see in the video what is the difference between braising and stewing. Braising. So in braising we use tougher cuts of meat because it takes very long to cook. As braising is a very slow, moist, long process of cooking, so the tougher cuts will also get tender in the cooking. Before we start braising, we have to brown the pieces of meat. Then the braised meat should be immersed partially in the liquid. See how we're gonna braise this. I'm gonna start by adding some oil in my pan, and then I'll brown the pieces of meat. I'm gonna try to cook this until the meat becomes brown, stirring in between. Now, as you can see, the bones, the meat has turned brown. I'll quickly add some vegetables to it and continue to saute this. I'm going to add some wine to this. I declare to put some wine. Next, I'll add some tomato puree to this. And now I will add some mutton stock into it. Now, as you can see, the meat is not completely immersed inside the liquid. That is the difference between braising and stewing. Now, what I'll do is I'll cover this with a silver foil and I'll put this in the oven. Now, what happens when I'm covering this with a silver foil? A lot of steam would be generated. So as you can see now, the meat is gently simmering. So braising is a combination of 3 cooking methods, that is simmering. Quickly I'm going to throw in some bay leaf, some peppercorns, some rosemary, and now I will apply the second method of cooking, which is steaming. I will cover this, and when I cover this, a lot of steam would be generated. So the second method of cooking would be applied, that is steaming, and then in the end I'll put this inside the oven. So when I put this inside the oven, the third method of cooking would be applied, which is roasting. So braising is a combination of simmering, steaming and roasting. Let's cover this with a silver foil and let's put this inside the oven for roasting. Now we have come to the last step. We put this inside the oven for roasting. Now by doing this, we have completed all the 3 methods of cooking. We have done simmering, we have done steaming, we have done roasting. So braising is done.